Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Mattice, your Hekman librarian, back with more tips for your next research paper. This time I want to focus on the writing part of things and how to write like a scholar. So one caveat, I am a librarian, I'm not a writing instructor. So this video is not meant to be some kind of comprehensive ultimate guide. Your writing professors have plenty to teach you about that whole process. I just have a few tips to add that come from my library side of the experience, based on all of the research papers and articles that I've read and written, and there have been quite a lot. Scholarly writing has some distinctive characteristics to it. So if you keep some of these things in mind when you're writing your next research paper, you'll fit right in.
So number one, scholars write with objective tone and language. In a lot of research articles and books, you'll see more conditional sounding phrases like, this may be possible, or this suggests a connection. It may sound like hedging, but it's actually very important that scholarly writers exercise this kind of restraint. Researchers have to be careful not to promise or conclude more than they can scientifically defend. So even in their writing, they have to be careful with their word choice. Besides language, scholars also keep their tone objective by limiting their descriptive wordiness. It can make scholarly writing kind of dry at times, and you may be tempted to get creative with it. But if you want to keep your writing scholarly, you'll save the creativity for your next poetry or novel writing class. In the end, scholars are here to educate with their writing, not to entertain. So sticking to just the objective facts is the priority.
Number two, scholars rely on logic and evidence to make their points. When you think about writing a persuasive argument, you may imagine the power of passionate words or appealing to the heart. But when scholars write argumentative research papers, they let the evidence speak for itself. And by evidence, I mean data and supporting sources. So if you want your writing to sound more scholarly, work on that bibliography. An extensive works cited with sources that are actually authoritative and not just meh, good enough, shows that you are a scholar who has done the work. Also, when scholars make their case in their writing, they tend to talk in measurable, definable terms, even though you might see fewer bold statements about what is right or wrong in the emotional sense. Conclusions like, the increasing number of cases confirms that, or many scholars agree on, which are statements that can be just as bold and backed by quantifiable evidence. Number three, scholars use their writing to build connections and context. With all this talk of evidence and objectivity, you may be wondering, what about my voice, or what am I contributing that's unique to this conversation? Well, it's true that at the beginner stage of research, you may not have the know-how to be producing new data or theories, but that's okay. It's actually pretty rare for even professionals in most fields to be publishing groundbreaking new ideas with every paper. Actually, a lot of scholarly writing is building on what has already been done. And that's something you can practice from the beginning. It starts with your annotated bibliography. You've gathered sources. Now you're making connections between what others have said and what you're wanting to address. Your unique contribution is connecting those dots and explaining that to your readers. And if you don't think that sounds particularly meaningful, think about all the social media posts or videos you've ever seen with some explosive headline about a recent study or breaking news that you find out later was taken way out of context, but nobody explained. This world is in desperate need of context, so trust me, your scholarly writing is actually doing something really important. So there you have it. Just a few reminders on how scholars write and how you can write more like a scholar. Hopefully this gives you some ideas for how to move from the work you've been doing collecting sources and turn that annotated bibliography into an actual research paper. As you keep working on your writing, We librarians are here to help, as always. But remember, there's other people that you can consult with more on the writing process, such as the Rhetoric Center and your profs. You can consider that as sort of a last bonus tip from me. Scholars write as part of a learning community, so don't be afraid to accept feedback or get help from your peers and profs. In the end, we're all learning and growing as scholars here, and the wisest thing we can do is to be open to constructive criticism and honest feedback so that we can produce our best work. So good luck on your next research paper. That's all for now. See you next time.